Sailing at night, catching fish in the fog, and encountering terrifying sea creatures can make for an eerie and terrifying adventure on the ocean. But what if things start to become strange and odd, like catching mutated fish, seeing rocks and islands appear out of nowhere, and even being chased by a sea giant? Sounds fun, let's play! The salty sea air whips through your hair as you steer your beat toward a bustling port, the promise of a new job calling you forward. The sun beats down on your skin, warming it in a way that only the ocean can. But suddenly, the storm appears. You're thrown off course, straight into a treacherous reef. The sound of the wood splintering and cracking is deafening, and for a moment, everything goes black. When you come to, you find yourself in a cold, wet dark. You've been rescued by the town people. The mayor himself approaches you and tells you that you're lucky to be alive. Your heart sinks, however, as you hear that your boat is shattered and useless. But then, a glimmer of hope. He offers you a loan for a new boat, but with one catch. You must catch and sell fish to pay off the debt. And so, with a mix of determination and trepidation, you set out to the sea once again, ready to take on whatever the ocean may throw your way. You start off with a sense of confidence, believing that paying off your debts to fishing will be a breeze. However, as the days go by, you notice that something isn't quite right. The sea seems to be acting strange, with mutated creatures swimming in your nets and rocks seemingly appearing out of nowhere. You start to question your own sanity, as you find yourself drifting on the vast ocean, surrounded by sounds of seagulls. Yet there's no bird in sight, and you question if it isn't all just a figment of your imagination. But the fear and adrenaline pumping through your veins tells a different story. You are convinced that what you're experiencing is real, and you're not sure how to make sense of it all. Despite the doubts and confusion, you continue to fish, not only to pay off your debts, but also to try and understand what's happening to you. It's an adventure like no other, filled with danger, mystery and excitement, as you navigate the unknown waters of the sea and try to survive the bizarre challenges that come your way. As our sailor ventures out into the vast mysterious sea, you can't help but think of the countless tales and seafaring myths and legends. The stories of krakens, ghost ships and phantom islands that have been passed down from generation to generation. And yet, as he sails into the night, he begins to question whether these are just stories, or if they could actually be true. The sailor's mind becomes more and more consumed by paranoia as he ventures further from shore. He becomes more isolated, and fog starts appearing around him. Rocks seem to be appearing out of nowhere, menacingly lurking just beneath the surface. Islands materialize out of thin air, beckoning him closer to their mysterious allure. Other ships appear on the horizon, but when you finally get there, there's no ship in sight. And then, just as he thought it couldn't get any worse, he catches a glimpse of a monstrous shape in the water, far larger than any creature he's ever seen before. Is it the sea giant? A mythical beast straight out of the legends he's heard so much about? Or is it all just a trick of his mind? A product of his own growing paranoia? The sailor can't be sure. Is it real or just a fantasy? Good thing psychology might have an answer. Sailing hallucinations is a fascinating but terrifying phenomenon that has been plagued sailors for centuries. It is caused by a combination of physical and psychological stresses that can be heightened by the isolation of unpredictability of life at sea. The hallucinations experienced by sailors can be incredibly vivid and often involve sea creatures and other nautical themes. A famous example of this is the myth of the mermaids. Sailors heard beautiful melodies carried by the wind, a voice so enchanting that it seems to come from another world. As they get close, they see the outline of a woman perched on a rock, singing a haunting tune. They steer their ship towards her, hoping to get closer, but as they approach, the woman disappears. It was just a trick of their eyes. But it's too late to turn around, and the ship crashes against the rock on the shore of an unknown island, and the crew is stranded, left to face the perils of the sea alone. In this example, the sailors experience visual and auditory hallucinations, just as the sailor does in DREDGE. Hallucinations occur most often in the dark, where the brain gets tricked more easily. You're a bit more on edge. Your heart rate is elevated, your palms are sweaty, knees weak, Mom, spaghetti. This is also what we see with the sailor. As our sailor sets out into the night, the panic sets in, and the sailing hallucination starts to take in. The more panicked you are, the worse the hallucinations get. The mind begins to play tricks, and the line between reality and illusion becomes blurred.
There! What? A ghost ship!
Rocks materialize out of nowhere, islands appear and disappear, and ships trying to attack you. And then, there are the monsters. Giant, terrifying creatures that seem to defy all explanation. Over the centuries of sea exploration, there have been many sightings of terrifying creatures. Some real, and some less. For example, the Kraken. The giant squid that attacks ships, the sea monster? Or just that, a giant squid? A sea serpent? Or just a giant eel? Moby Dick? Just a blue whale? Either way, after being on the lonely ocean, it's enough for your mind to play tricks on you. Sailing hallucinations can be caused by isolation from other people for extended periods of time. In DREDGE, most days you're sailing alone and won't see another person for a day or two. Now, this is in the longer, so might not have the most effect. However, because he sails alone, he has to work a lot. To sail, navigate, fish, all by himself. A lot of nights he doesn't even sleep, and probably experience fatigue, sleep deprivation, malnutrition, and dehydration. I mean, do you even ever see him eat or drink? These factors can contribute to a sense of disorientation and delirium, which may manifest as vivid hallucinations. Also, the way people talk and interact with us can greatly affect our mental and emotional state. In this case, the townspeople's attitude towards fishermen may have contributed to our sailors' anxiety and paranoia. The tales of danger and the shipwright's request for payment up front only adds to the paranoia the sailor might experience, or the fishmonger's surprise at finding a new angler so fast could imply that the profession is dangerous, and not many people are willing to take it on. This could make the sailor feel more isolated and vulnerable, as if he's taking on a great risk that others are not willing to. All these factors combined could amplify the effect of sailing hallucinations and make the sailor's experience even more challenging. So, how are hallucinations caused in the brain? Hallucinations occur when there is a disturbance in the normal functioning of the brain's sensory processing systems. The brain receives and processes information from the senses, such as sight, sound and touch, to create our perception of reality. However, when there's a disruption in this process, for example when it's under extreme stress, the brain's neural network can become overactive and create sensory experiences that aren't based on any actual stimuli. The person experiences it as real, and so the hallucinations occur. This can happen in many different shapes or forms. For example, you can see shapes and forms, but also people, animal, or objects. They can be anywhere from shadows to fully detailed. Also auditory, with sounds. Can be from mumbling to full-fledged sensations. Other forms of hallucinations are olfactory, smell, gustatory, taste and tactile, feel. There are many factors that can contribute to the development of hallucinations, such as drug use, certain medical conditions like schizophrenia and dementia, but also kidney and liver failure. Note that hallucinations are in almost all cases a symptom of an underlying problem. In the case of our sailor, it's more likely it's caused by temporary causes. Temporary causes of visual hallucinations can include sleep deprivation, high levels of stress or anxiety, sensory deprivation or overload, or even extreme emotions like grief or excitement. It's likely that these factors combined with the myths of sea monsters and dangers combined with the story of the town people all contribute to the visual hallucinations he's experiencing while out at sea. These hallucinations may feel very real to him, but in reality, they're just a product of his brain trying to make sense of the sensory information it's receiving. So, the next time you see a sea monster or hear the sound of ghostly sailors whispering in your ear, don't worry, it's just your brain playing tricks on you. Maybe it's just time to take a break and get some sleep or drink some water. Or just remember that mermaids aren't real. Or are they? And if you're ever stranded on a deserted island, just remember the coconuts are real and they make great hats. This is Psychology in Games and I'll see you next time.